What am I wearing today for an early spring season ride in Alaska? I'll cover that here in a few minutes. I have anxiously been watching the weather forecasted this spring along the highway routes within day range of my house. I have been waiting for an opportunity to jump on my first longer ride on regular rubber tires for the season. Seeing weather all along the route from Tok to Glen Allen, up to Delta Junction and back to Tok at above 33 degrees Fahrenheit last weekend had me ready to ride in spite of the forecasted rain. One thing worth noting is that during midday, even when air temperatures have been marginally below freezing, the asphalt surfaces have been warming up enough to melt any ice on them. I set out with about 370 miles planned for the day. I ran through a mix of sunshine, rain, and falling sleet throughout the day. My actual day's temperatures varied between about 31 and 40 degrees. I did have to use caution and pay close attention to the road in the higher elevations in the rain due to the risk of wet road surfaces turning to ice. Fortunately, they stayed only wet. Due to the clouds and rain, the most commonly epic views weren't so particularly epic, but it sure is nice to be out on two wheels. I spent over 6.5 hours riding today. The distance between occupied towns along my route ranged from 60 up to around 140 miles. One challenge this brings up is not having the ability to stop for a cup of coffee on short notice if I need to warm up. In the past, I have worn a heated jacket, pants, and socks for comfort. Even with the heated suit, I have always packed backup clothing to be able to suit up enough to at least survive a long ride, even without the powered heat source. If you dress in a manner that is betting your life on an electric heated device and that fails, it's bad news for you. Today, I just dressed warm enough to be 100% comfortable without power. Well, we made it back. Dressing for winter, or I should say early spring, is always a challenge for what to wear. My top layer today was a cheap motorcycle rain suit that I got from Amazon. It's the first rain gear I ever bought. It doesn't breathe, but it does keep the outside water out, and it fits over my snowsuit. One thing I do that tends to help hold in the heat is taping the ankles of my warm pants layer to my boots. Today, I am not wearing motorcycle armor. It is an advantage to wear heated gear because then my regular armored jacket and pants are enough to keep me comfortable and dry. With the snow gear, I would have to sacrifice a lot of mobility to wear armor underneath. Someday, I'll probably upgrade my cold gear, but for now, I choose from what I have. So, for the breakdown on the rest of my warm gear today, on my boots, I just wear a set of military surplus bunny boots. I've been wearing these for about 7 years, and they're pretty well wore out. For used military surplus boots, they've lasted me pretty well, but some of the eyes have ripped out. My laces are kind of tore up. The grommets are gone out of several of these eyes, and then the worst part's the sides cracked, and this is a insulated layer that's sandwiched between a couple of rubber layers. Once the rubber breaks, they collect moisture in the insulation, and then they don't dry out, so it gets ruined. So this is the last year I'll be wearing those. I'll be throwing them out and probably ordering myself another set of surplus boots. They're pretty cheap on eBay for what you get, and they last well. The other question I get often is, how do I fit my foot under the shifter? They're actually pretty flexible. If you look, they're pretty squishy. So it's not that hard. They bend well. They articulate your ankle easy. And for as bulky as they look, they're actually pretty. It's like wearing a massive rubber slipper, I guess. And then on my snowsuit, I moved to Alaska here back in 2011, and I bought this suit that winter, winter 2011-2012, from Cabela's. And they don't make this model anymore. I forget what it was actually called. It's just a down one-piece snowsuit that has served me well for the last 14 years. The down's compacted down a little bit more. It's certainly not as warm as it started out back then. So one of these years I'll probably end up replacing it again, but it's what I have, and winter gear is very expensive. So wearing what you have is sometimes what you got to do, and it's still a functional piece of cold weather gear that keeps you warm and does a pretty good job. So that's my heavy insulation piece for whenever I need it. And then today, what I wore under that was just this hoodie, a t-shirt, and wool underwear, and then I got a pair of work pants here that are just KUIU hunting pants that are kind of windproof-ish, kind of a heavy layer work pant kind of thing. It's pretty comfortable to wear, and with that and a set of good heavy boot socks inside those bunny boots, that's pretty much it there. Then for my hands, all I was wearing there was just my regular leather armored summer gloves, which I wear all the time. These are good inside my hippo hands on the handlebars down to probably 10 degrees. I carry a glove liner, and then whenever the weather's colder than it was today, these are what I'll wear if I need additional layers. These are pretty warm. And then back over here to the hippo hands, this is a critical piece of keeping my hands warm in the winter. You've got the Alcan, which is the deepest ones, the Rogues, and then the 9-inch backcountry model, which I have one of the Alcans and the backcountry set. Biggest thing with the Alcan model is it's 12 inches deep, and then it has this neoprene sleeve that kind of closes the hole around your wrist, so that with your hand inside of there on your handlebars, your jacket sleeve is up inside of there, and you don't get any wind up your sleeves that way. You can't see your controls, but once you learn your bike, you don't need to see them anyway. You can run those all by feel, and they become second nature, so it's not really a big deal. And they flex up and down too, so I find even if I'm standing up and riding, they're fine. If you're a real heavy off-road rider and you want something that's a little less restrictive and so you can see your controls, the backcountry model here is much more shallow and still offers some pretty good wind protection here. It's just you've got full access to all your controls, no restrictions hitting your wrists whenever you stand up, and still decent wind blockage. So that's the backcountry model. I'm not really a salesman, but if you're interested in a pair or you think it'd help you out, you can get a discount on them using my code AK.KLR650. They'll give you 10% off that way, and I've run that pair on the orange bike here for well over 30,000 miles, probably be fair to say 35,000 miles. So they've got a couple seasons of wear on them, and anytime the weather is cold or wet, it's well worth having. And then the last thing here is my helmet. I wear a heated visor snow machine helmet. Today I was not running heat. I didn't have it plugged in, and I didn't need it. It's got a super thick layer, almost like a pin lock on steroids. You can't see real well in the video how close together my fingers are, but I'd say we're about that thick between the inside layer and the outside layer, and it does a better job than even the helmet lens with the pin lock on it over here that I have on my right helmet by a long shot, even without power. And with power, that thing will stay clear down to the coldest temperature you can imagine. It's got a nice collar to block wind around your neck, and on the back side, it's got a magnetic fastener for the power port, which just or power cord that just snaps there, and then in the event you do something nutty or jump off the bike without unplugging it, it just comes off by magnet. And it's been a super functional, good option for me. and I've worn it both on snow machine and on the motorcycle. It was worth the purchase for the cold weather. So anyway, there you have it. That's my winter gear for the day, or fringe season gear for the day anyway. Wasn't a super cold day, but I was toasty, comfortable and warm, and had a good riding day for 7 hours and didn't have any problem at all. So there you go. Stay tuned. Hope you enjoyed the video, and watch for the next adventure coming soon.